The girl in the crash pod. It was a quiet night in the countryside. The stars were bright, the wind was soft, and the world was calm. But then something strange happened. A bright light appeared in the sky. It looked like a falling star. No, faster than that. It was a fireball burning as it came closer to Earth. Trees shook. Birds flew away in fear. The object crashed deep into the forest with a loud boom. Miles away, a young man named Ray was working in his small garage. He was a curious guy, always fixing things, building gadgets, and watching the stars through his old telescope. He heard the sound. It was not normal. Ray stepped outside. The sky was still glowing where the object had passed. Smoke was rising in the distance. He grabbed his flashlight, jumped on his bike, and rode into the night, heading toward the forest. It took him 20 minutes to reach the crash site. Trees were broken, the ground was burning hot. And in the center of it all, there was a silver pod, half open, glowing with blue lights. Ray's heart raced. He moved closer, slowly. The pod made a soft humming sound. He had never seen anything like it. Then he heard a sound, like a cough. He looked inside the pod. There was a girl. She looked about 16. Her skin was a light silver blue. Her hair floated slightly as if gravity didn't matter. She was wearing a strange suit, tight and glowing in parts. Her eyes were closed, but she was breathing. Ray gasped. "Oh my God, you're not from here." "Are you?" The girl's eyes snapped open. They were bright white, pure light. She stared at him, confused and scared. "Well, where am I?" she asked. Her voice was weak, shaking. Ray stepped back. "Earth. This is Earth." The girl sat up slowly, holding her head. She looked around. "Earth. Mission. Wait." Suddenly, she grabbed her stomach and screamed. "Wait, inside me? What does that even mean?" Ray froze. "What did you say?" She was panicking. She looked at her hands, her body. No, they told me it was safe. I wasn't supposed to wake up yet." Ray moved closer. Hey, calm down. You're safe now." But she wasn't listening. Her eyes glowed brighter. Her body started shaking. Then, silence. She fainted. Ray caught her just in time. He looked at her face. She looked like a teenager. Young, afraid, lost. "What the hell is inside you?" he whispered. Ray had no idea what to do. But he couldn't leave her there. So, carefully, he lifted her out of the pod and carried her back to his bike. It took hours, but he finally reached his garage by morning. He laid her on his workbench, placed a blanket over her, and sat nearby, watching her. She slept for hours. Ray used his tools to study the pod. It was made of some kind of metal he'd never seen before. No screws, no wires, no engine. It was smooth, like it grew instead of being built. Inside the pod, he found one thing, a small, blinking cube. He picked it up. The moment he touched, it had glowed brighter and showed a floating image in the air, a planet. Not Earth. A voice came from the cube in a soft female tone. "Mission Alpha 7. Carry and protect the core. Do not open the vessel. Earth is not ready." Ray's eyes widened. "The core? Vessel? What core? Is she the vessel?" Just then, the girl woke up. She sat up quickly, breathing hard. Her eyes scanned the room. When she saw Ray, she relaxed a little. "You helped me." Ray nodded. "Yeah, you crashed. I found you." The girl looked down at her hands. "Something's wrong. I was not supposed to wake up." Ray handed her the cube. "Is this yours?" She took it. As soon as she touched it, the cube stopped glowing. She whispered, "They put it inside me. The core." Ray blinked. "Wait, inside you? Like, in your body?" The girl looked at him, deadly serious. "Yes, and if they find me, they'll try to take it out." Ray stepped back. "Who will?" The girl didn't answer. She looked out the window. her eyes full of fear. They're already coming. Secrets. In her DNA, Ray didn't sleep. How could he? An alien girl was lying in his garage, a living puzzle who claimed to have something called a core inside her, and now, apparently, someone or something was coming to take it. The girl had fallen, back asleep, but her body still glowed faintly. Her skin shimmered with silver blue light whenever she moved. She looked human, mostly. But Ray knew this was not just a girl. This was a warning, wrapped in mystery. Ray sat at his desk and watched her. His laptop blinked beside him. Old tools and machines covered every surface. He wasn't a doctor or a scientist, just a small-town tech nerd who liked space too much, and now space had crashed into his life. The girl stirred, her eyes opened slowly. That same white glow filled the room like a flashlight with a soul. "You're still here," she said, sitting up. Ray nodded. "Yep, not exactly the kind of guest I expected, though. Name's Ray, by the way." She blinked. "Ray, I will remember that. My name is... I don't know." She paused. It was... erased. Erased? Ray frowned. "Who erases someone's name?" The girl looked down. "Those who want you to forget who you are and what you carry." Ray exhaled slowly. "Okay, so you said there's something inside you. A core?" She nodded. "It is alive and asleep, for now." "Alive?" Ray stood up fast. "Wait, hold on. Are we talking like a creature? A robot? An alien baby?" "No," she replied calmly. "It's worse. It's knowledge." Ray blinked. "That doesn't sound bad." "It is," she whispered. "Too much knowledge in the wrong hands is always dangerous." She pulled up the sleeve of her arm. Something pulsed under her skin, a strange pattern of lights, like circuitry alive beneath the surface. Ray gulped. "Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Not human." The girl looked at him. "You helped me. Maybe you can help me find out what they put inside me." Ray had an idea. He dug through his desk and pulled out a small scanner, something he built himself using a few salvaged medical tools and hacked software. "It's not alien tech," he said, "but it might work." He pointed it at her arm and pressed a button. The screen flashed. Numbers, codes, patterns danced across it. The scanner started beeping uncontrollably. "Oh boy," he muttered. "You've got more than just blood in you." The scan revealed something unbelievable. Her DNA wasn't just biological. It was fused with artificial code. Glowing lines of data were threaded through her cells like someone had written a computer program inside her body. "What is that?" Ray whispered. "A lock," she said softly. "A digital one, hidden in me so no one can reach the core unless they know the code. Can we crack it?" "No," she said, "but I can feel it trying to open on its own." Just then, the scanner flashed again. A map appeared on the screen. It was made of strange symbols and coordinates. "What's this?" Ray asked. "It's guiding us," she said, "to something hidden, something connected to the core." Suddenly, every light in the garage flickered. The girl's eyes went wide. "They're near." Ray ran to the window. At the edge of the trees, something moved. Shadows, tall, thin, and glowing faint red. At least 3 figures. "Who are they?" Ray asked. The girl stood up slowly. Her voice dropped. "They're the extractors. They don't care if I live or die. They only want what's inside." Ray grabbed his backpack and stuffed the cube and scanner inside. "We're not staying here. Can you run?" The girl nodded. "I was trained to survive. I just forgot how, until now." They slipped out the back door and ran into the night. Behind them, the garage lights burst and went black. Deep into the woods, the forest was darker than usual. Like the trees, were holding their breath. The girl moved fast, like she could feel every step before it happened. Ray followed, heart pounding. "Where does the map lead?" he asked between gasps. "There's a hidden vault," she replied. A long time ago, before I was born, something was buried here, something ancient, even older than my people. Let me guess, Ray said, dodging a branch. It wants to wake up too? The girl didn't smile. Yes, and it will, if we don't reach it first. They ran for nearly an hour. Finally, they reached a clearing. In the middle stood a huge stone slab, half covered in moss. But as the girl stepped forward, the symbols from the cube lit up on the stone surface. It's reacting to you, Ray said. She touched the slab. A low hum filled the air. The ground trembled. The stone slid open, revealing stairs going deep underground, glowing with alien light. She turned to Ray. You can still run. You don't have to follow me. Ray looked at her, breathing hard. No way. I started this mess. I'm not leaving until we figure out what's really inside you. They stepped into the darkness. Above them, the extractors arrived at the edge of the clearing. They were too late. But not for long. The entity wakes up. The stairs were cold and wet as Ray and the alien girl moved deeper underground. The glowing walls pulsed like veins, as if the place itself was alive and breathing. The air was heavy with dust, but there was something else too. A strange scent, like old metal and lightning. Ray's flashlight flickered. He smacked it. Of course, it dies now. The girl said nothing. Her eyes glowed softly, lighting the path ahead. We're close, she whispered. I can feel it calling. Ray raised an eyebrow. Calling like, welcome party? Or horror movie whispering your name type calling? She didn't answer. That wasn't comforting. The tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. It was circular and quiet, too quiet. The walls were made of smooth, dark stone. In the center stood a tall, black obelisk, about 10 feet high, covered in glowing alien symbols. Floating rings spun slowly around it like pieces of a puzzle. Ray stared. Okay, I've played enough video games to know that's probably a boss room. The girl stepped toward the obelisk. Her steps were slow but certain, like her body remembered a path her mind had forgotten. As she got closer, the obelisk responded. The floating rings moved faster. The symbols glowed brighter. A low hum began to fill the chamber. Ray felt the hair on his arms rise. I don't think we're supposed to be here. The girl placed her hand on the stone. Instantly, the chamber trembled. A sudden burst of light shot through the floor beneath them. Ray fell back, shielding his eyes. The girl, however, stood still, surrounded by a column of light. And then, it spoke. Vessel. Recognized, lock disengaged, core awakening. Ray's heart skipped. What lock? Who said that? Why is the floor vibrating? The girl's eyes rolled back. She floated into the air, her body limp, arms outstretched. Symbols began forming in the air around her, digital glyphs made of light and sound. They rotated, shifted, connected like code rewriting itself. Ray yelled, "Hey, snap out of it!" But she didn't respond. Inside her mind, the girl was somewhere else. A white void, and in the center, a figure. Tall, glowing, made of pure energy. No face, just shape and presence. You were not meant to awaken yet, it said. Its voice echoed inside her skull, deep and layered, like 1,000 voices in one. Who are you? She asked. I am the echo of intelligence, the core inside you. I have waited for the right time to speak, and the right threat to return. The extractors? No. Something worse. Something coming. And it will burn your skies. Meanwhile, back in the chamber, Ray was panicking. The girl's body shook mid-air. Cracks appeared on the obelisk. The floating rings slammed into each other and shattered like glass. Suddenly, silence. The girl fell. Ray rushed and caught her just before she hit the floor. You okay? Say something. Her eyes opened slowly. They were no longer glowing. White now. They were black. Endless. Stars twinkled inside them. She spoke, but her voice was layered. 2 voices at once, hers and something else. I remember everything. Ray stepped back. Okay. Gonna need a little more context here. She looked at the ruins of the obelisk. This was a prison, for knowledge too powerful to exist freely. And you were carrying that knowledge? She nodded. Pieces of it. I was never just a girl. I was a vault. Ray rubbed his face. So now, what the core is awake. You've got cosmic Wikipedia in your head, what do we do? The girl looked up toward the surface. Now, we run. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed through the chamber, like metal grinding. Ray spun around. Oh, come on! What now? The wall behind them opened with a hiss. From the shadows stepped a tall figure in dark armor. Not human. Its face was covered, and its body pulsed with red energy. It spoke in a voice like broken glass. Vessel detected. Extraction begins now. Ray grabbed the girl's arm. Okay, not sticking around for that. The armored figure raised a weapon. It hummed like it wanted to eat the air itself, but the girl raised her hand. Without touching it, she froze the weapon in mid-air. The metal bent, cracked, and collapsed. Her voice was cold. You're too late. The figure took a step back, almost like it felt fear. Ray whispered, Please tell me that's your power and not the core being dramatic. The girl didn't reply. She just stared at the extractor. It ran. Ray blinked. Wait, did you just scare the thing that was trying to dissect you? The girl turned to Ray, her eyes still filled with stars. They know I'm awake now. More will come, bigger ones, smarter, older. But I'm not afraid anymore. Ray exhaled. Good, because I'm terrified enough for both of us. She reached down and picked up a shard of the obelisk. The war is coming, Ray. Not just for Earth, for everything. Ray stared at her. Alien knowledge. Enemies from the stars. A girl who wasn't just a girl. And somehow, he was in the middle of all of it. He smiled nervously. Well, guess I better get better snacks. Human after all. They didn't speak, for hours. After escaping the underground vault, Ray and the alien girl found shelter in an abandoned cabin deep in the woods. It was small, dusty, forgotten, a place where time seemed to have stopped. The girl sat by the window watching the trees. Her eyes no longer glowed constantly, but there was still something strange about them. Like galaxies lived behind. Her pupils. Ray sat on the floor across from her, still processing everything. So, he said finally, do I call you girl, core, star child, or... She didn't look at him. I remember now. My name was Leora. Leora, Ray repeated. Nice. Has a mysterious sci-fi princess vibe. She didn't smile. Ray sighed. Okay, not the time for jokes, got it? Leora kept her voice flat. I was designed to be friendly, to look young, harmless. I was built like this so Earth wouldn't fear me. Ray raised an eyebrow. You're saying you were made? She turned toward him. Engineered, not born. Ray blinked. So, you're not real? She frowned. I feel real. I bleed. I dream. I'm not sure if that makes me real by your standards. Ray leaned back. You're real to me. That's what matters. Leora's face softened for a second, but only for a second. She stood up. We don't have time. The core is drawing attention. Other hybrids will come now. Hybrids? Ray asked. There are others like me, Leora said. Some failed. Some went rogue. One was sent before me, but he never came back. Ray stood too. You're saying there's a missing alien human super soldier out there? Leora nodded. And if he survived, he might not be friendly anymore. Meanwhile, far away, a small town near the edge of the forest, a gas station flickered under buzzing lights. Inside, a lone man in a long coat stood at the fridge, staring at bottles of water. His skin was too smooth, his eyes too still. When he finally moved, it was with robotic precision. He looked human, but he wasn't. The store clerk behind the counter yawned. "Help you, sir?" The man turned slowly. His eyes glowed red for a split second. Then, flash. Everything went dark. Back in the cabin, Ray was fixing his old laptop with shaking hands. He connected it to the scanner, trying to decode what the alien cube had shown earlier. The map, the core symbols, the warning. Leora stood beside him, silent. Finally, something loaded. A strange data file. It contained schematics, a voice, log, and video. Ray clicked play. A message appeared. A woman with long silver hair stood in front of a dark star field. She looked tired, desperate. To the next carrier of the core. If you're watching this, then the failsafe has triggered. You are the last vault and the last chance. The core is more than data. It is the soul of an extinct civilization. Protect it, or watch the universe burn again. Leora's breath caught. That voice, she whispered. That was my creator. Ray looked at her. You said you were a vault, but this makes you a walking monument. She turned to him, eyes wide. No, it makes me a target with a countdown. Suspicion rises as the night grew deeper. Ray couldn't sleep. He stared at the girl lying across from him, watching the stars through a cracked window. He trusted her, or at least, he wanted to, but a voice whispered in his head. She has a weapon inside her. She might not even know what she's capable of. And if she loses control? He remembered the frozen weapon, the shattered obelisk, the red-eyed extractor who ran away from her. Ray quietly picked up the scanner again. He pointed it toward her body. The screen lit up. Warning: core energy spiking. Containment unstable. Status unknown threat level. Ray's heart sank. He turned away, whispering to himself. What are you? Behind him, Leora's eyes opened. She had been awake the whole time. The attack, a loud boom shattered the silence. The cabin door exploded inward. Shadow stepped through the smoke. It was the man from the gas station. The hybrid. Half human, half machine. Wires ran under his skin. His face was calm but dead. Leora jumped up. It's him. The hybrid looked at her. You carry the core. Ray stepped forward. Back off, Robo-Rambo. She's not going anywhere with you. The hybrid ignored him. You're unstable. You need extraction before the core consumes you. Leora's hands glowed with pulsing light. You don't get to decide what I am. The hybrid moved fast, like a ghost. He slammed into her, and the cabin shook. Ray was thrown against the wall. Leora fought back, light against metal. Energy beams clashed, furniture burst into flames. Ray watched as she unleashed power he'd never seen before. She wasn't just a carrier. She was evolving. The hybrid roared. You are a danger to all of Earth, Leora screamed. Then I'll protect Earth. From you. With a final blast, she sent the hybrid crashing through the wall and into the trees. Silence. Smoke filled the air. The cabin was half destroyed. Ray pulled himself up. You okay? Leora looked down at her hands, still glowing. I don't know, she said softly. That power, it felt like it wanted to take over. Ray walked closer. He touched her, shouldered gently. Then don't fight it alone. She looked at him. You still trust me? After what you saw? Ray smiled weakly. You're learning to be human, and humans mess up. But they also choose who they want to be. Leora's eyes shimmered, no longer glowing, just tired. I don't want to be a weapon anymore, she whispered. Ray nodded. Then let's make sure no one else uses you like one. Enemy or ally? The cabin was gone. Charred wood, broken, glass and scorched earth were all that remained. Smoke still rose from the wreckage. The forest stood silent as if nature itself had taken a step back. Ray and Leora walked through the ashes. Neither spoke, not because there was nothing to say, but because they didn't know how to say it. Leora's hands were still trembling, not from fear, but from memory. "I hurt him," she said quietly. "The hybrid, I almost killed him." Ray kept his eyes on the path. "You were defending yourself." She shook her head. "That wasn't defense, that was instinct, that was the core." Ray stopped walking. "You keep saying that like it's some separate thing, like it's not a part of you." Leora turned toward him, eyes heavy with guilt. "Because it's not. It's something ancient, something waiting." Ray frowned. "Waiting for what?" She looked down. A signal. Flashback. The first mission. Leora's mind drifted back to white halls, to a world of machines and stars, back before Earth. She remembered metal hands placing the core inside her. She remembered a voice speaking through glass. If Earth reaches Class 5 development, they must be stopped. Their curiosity will burn the galaxy. The core will activate. The purge will begin. She hadn't understood then, but she did now. A new player enters. Miles away, in a sleek underground base, screens flickered to life. A group of humans, well-dressed, calm, dangerous, stood watching Leora through satellite feeds. One of them, a woman in a white suit, turned to her team. "The asset is awake. She survived hybrid contact. She's more advanced than we expected." A man beside her crossed his arms. "Should we extract?" She smiled. Coldly. "No. Let her lead us to the vault. Then we take the core, and Earth makes the first strike." On the run again, Ray and Leora didn't know they were being watched. They had taken shelter in an old train station, abandoned, quiet, forgotten. The perfect place for questions that neither of them wanted to ask. Ray sat on a broken bench holding the alien cube. He stared at its blinking lights. "It still shows coordinates," he muttered. "Another vault?" Leora nodded. "The last one. After this, the core reaches full sync. I'll remember everything." Ray looked at her, hesitant. "Are you sure you want to? I mean, what if those memories are commands?" She didn't answer. He leaned forward. "Leora, I need to ask something." She turned to him slowly. "You were sent here," Ray said. "But was your mission to protect Earth, or to destroy it?" Silence. Leora's voice was a whisper. "Both." Ray stood. "What does that even mean?" She didn't look at him. "If Earth passed the test, peace. If not, purge." Ray's face fell. "What test?" Leora finally looked at him. "Humanity's heart, its choices, its kindness. The core measures not just tech, but soul." Ray took a step back. "You've been watching us? Judging us?" "No," she said. "Living with you, learning, feeling." She placed a hand on her chest. "And now, I don't want to purge anyone." Ray's jaw clenched. "But is it your decision to make or the core's?" Before she could answer, the cube blinked faster. A red glow. Alert, incoming signal detected. Multiple vessels. Ray turned pale. Someone's coming. Not extractors this time. Something bigger. Enter the fleet in orbit above Earth. Invisible to human eyes, ships decloaked. Sleek, silver, and silent. Alien ships shaped like blades and bones. A voice echoed inside Leora's mind. "You failed. You have bonded with the test. Subjects, you are compromised." She fell to her knees, clutching her head. "You must return to the command vessel. The purge begins now." Ray rushed to her. "Leora, what is it?" she gasped. "They're here. My creators, the ones who built me. They're going to wipe out Earth." Ray's voice broke. "Can't you stop them?" Leora shook her head. "Not unless The core chooses me over them. A choice that changes everything. That night, they reached the final vault. It wasn't in a city. It wasn't underground. It was floating, in the sky. A cloaked structure above an abandoned satellite station, hidden in plain sight. They climbed the final tower. Lightning flashed around them. The wind howled. Inside, a core terminal waited. Leora placed her hand on it. Final sync, initiating. Ray stood behind her. If you do this, if the core fully wakes up, can you still be you? Leora didn't know. Suddenly a blast hit the wall. The armored hybrid returned, broken, limping, but alive. And he wasn't alone. With him was a human, the woman in the white suit. Leora, she said with a smile, we don't want to hurt you. We want to help you. Ray frowned. Who are you? The woman stepped forward. We're from a shadow division of Earth's Defense Council. We knew about the core, we just never thought it would bond emotionally. She looked at Leora like a scientist examining an insect. Come with us. Let us take the core. You can be free. Ray whispered. Don't believe her. Leora looked between them all. Her creators wanted to wipe Earth. Humans wanted to use her as a weapon, and Ray, he just wanted her to choose for herself. For the first time, Leora stepped back and made a choice. She reached into the terminal and absorbed the core completely. White light exploded outward. Everyone fell back. The hybrid screamed. The woman vanished in a flash of fire. When the light faded, Leora stood alone, but her eyes were no longer filled with stars. They were completely human. Ray whispered, You okay? Leora turned to him, smiling faintly. I chose Earth. The human choice silence. That was all that remained after the blast. The vault was gone. The sky tower had crumbled. The satellite dish had melted. The woman in the white suit disappeared. The hybrid's armor lay in smoking pieces, scattered. Across the ruined platform like fallen bones, Ray coughed and pulled himself up from the rubble. The air smelled like ozone and burnt circuits. He looked around. Leora? He called out. A soft voice answered. I'm here. She stood in the center of the ruins, surrounded by a ring of glowing white ash. Her body no longer shimmered with alien light. Her skin was pale but no longer silver. Her eyes, human. Fully human. Ray stared at her. You changed. She nodded. The core merged with me, but it didn't overwrite me. It listened to me. Ray stepped closer, carefully. What did you say to it? Leora's voice was quiet. I said Earth was worth saving, that people were more than threats, that love, kindness, and choices matter more than power or control. She looked up. And for some reason, it believed me. Ray chuckled softly. Well, you are very convincing when you're not blowing up bunkers. Leora finally smiled. But far above, in orbit aboard a colossal starship that blotted out the sun from behind Earth's curve, alarms were blaring, red lights flashed. Commanders shouted in a language older than most stars. The core had gone rogue. The vessel had merged. The Earth had been chosen. A tall figure stood at the center of the ship's bridge, faceless, robed in flowing black and chrome. The architect. The one who designed the core, who built Leora, who believed in control over chaos. He raised one hand, and the room fell silent. Earth has failed the test, he said coldly. The girl has made her choice. He turned toward a massive window staring down at the blue planet. Then we shall make ours. A war declared back on Earth, the sky changed. Stars disappeared. Clouds twisted unnaturally. The moon turned. Red Leora's head snapped up. No, they're coming. Ray ran beside her. The aliens, your creators? She nodded. They don't forgive rebellion or love. Ray grabbed her hand. Then we don't run this time. She looked at him. Ray, this isn't just a fight, this is extinction. They won't come to talk, they'll come to erase. Ray didn't blink. Good. Then let's give them something to remember. Preparing for impact, they returned to Ray's garage, the only home base they had. Ray sent out signals through every hacked satellite and dusty antenna he could find. Old government agencies. Underground science forums. Sci-Fi conspiracy nuts. He told them everything, the girl, the core, the coming war, and they answered. Within hours, people across the globe were listening. Hackers, engineers, ex-military, secret societies, even a few rogue hybrids hiding on Earth. They all knew. The real sci-fi war had arrived, and Earth wasn't going to go quietly. Leora's power evolves, but something was happening inside Leora. She could feel the core shifting. It had accepted her, but now it was asking her something. If Earth is worth saving, are you ready to defend it? She closed her eyes and saw visions. Earth burning, Ray screaming, ships falling from the sky like steel raindrops. The core showed her one final piece of itself, a weapon, a last resort protocol, hidden so deep she'd never sensed it before, a wave that could shut down her creator's ships with one pulse, but it had a price. It would destroy her too, the final decision. That night, Leora sat on the roof of Ray's garage, looking at the stars. Ray joined her, holding 2 cups of terrible coffee. Any ideas? He asked. She looked at him. One. But it might kill me. Ray's hand stopped midair. She explained the protocol. The weapon. The cost. Ray stood up. No, we'll find another way. There's always another way. Leora didn't respond because she already knew. Sometimes there wasn't. But before she could speak again, the sky split open. A beam of blue light fired down from orbit, straight into the desert nearby. The invasion had begun. Ray grabbed her hand. Then we buy you time. Leora stood, her voice calm but fierce. No, we fight. Together. Earth rises across the world. Humans fought back. Drones launched. Satellites activated. Hidden labs awakened strange tech that hadn't seen the light of day in decades. But the alien ships were vast, ancient, relentless. And then, Leora rose into the sky. She was flying. A trail of light followed her like a comet. The core inside her was burning hot, alive, awake, listening. She faced the invading fleet and whispered, "You should have listened to me when I begged for peace." Then she raised her hand, and the stars blinked. Humanity Fights Back. Leora hovered above the Earth, a tiny figure against the black ocean of space. Below her, cities flickered with warning lights. Above her, the alien fleet drifted closer, massive and silent. The final invasion had begun. She closed her eyes and whispered into the core, "Let me see them." In an instant, she saw everything. 1,000 alien ships, millions of weapons, billions of lives on Earth, unaware that their fate now hung on a single girl built in a lab on another world. She took a breath. "I choose Earth." The core responded, not in words, but in power. The first strike. The alien fleet opened fire. Blue beams of pure energy streaked through the sky like falling stars, targeting military bases, communication towers, and anything that looked like resistance. But Earth was ready. From the mountains of Chile to the frozen bunkers in Siberia, humans struck back. Old tech, new weapons, and everything in between came alive. Hidden orbital lasers fired from secret space stations. Civilian satellites were hacked and turned into jamming towers. Fighter jets launched from aircraft carriers with alien hybrid pilots at the helm. For once, Earth wasn't running, it was fighting. Leora's final weapon, but it wasn't enough. The aliens adapted too quickly. Each time humanity struck, the ships evolved mid-fight, changing shape, shifting shields, absorbing weapons. Leora watched helplessly, her fists clenched, She turned to the core, speaking inside her mind. Activate the final protocol. Warning. This action is irreversible. Vital signs will cease upon completion. She smiled faintly. I was never meant to live forever. But Earth was. Ray's last plea back on the ground, Ray stood in front of a broken satellite uplink, shouting into a mic. Leora, if you can hear me, don't do it. His voice echoed across all emergency channels. You're more than a weapon. More than their machine. If you die for us, you're letting them win. They don't get to decide your ending. In the sky, Leora paused. The core pulsed. She could feel Ray's voice, not in her ears, but in her heart. The human part of her. She closed her eyes. The choice that changed everything. And then, something unexpected happened. A ship from the alien fleet broke formation. It powered down its weapons and sent a signal, not an attack, but a question. Why did you choose them? Leora answered aloud, her voice carried by the core across space. Because they are messy, emotional, unpredictable, but they love, they care, they fight for each other, and that makes them worthy. ATU. Pause. Then, another ship powered down, then another, then 20, then 50. Across the sky, the fleet began to shift. The architect, watching from the main command vessel, slammed a fist into the console. She's corrupted the others. He barked orders. Engage the doomsday beam. The sky darkened as one colossal cannon unfolded from the flagship. Its target, Earth. The final stand, Leora flew forward, light streaking behind her like a comet. She pushed through laser fields, crashed through drone waves, tore through magnetic shields. The final weapon began to charge, glowing brighter than the sun. Ray watched from the ground, whispering, "Come on, Leora. Come on." As the weapon fired, Leora became the core. She spread her arms and turned into a pulse of living light. The beam hit her, but instead of destruction, it was absorbed, reflected, rewritten. The light exploded outward, not as death, but as a new signal, one the galaxy had never seen before, not a weapon, not control, not fear, but understanding. Aftermath, a new beginning. The fleet stopped. One by one, ships turned and left Earth's orbit, not because they were defeated, but because they were changed. Ray ran toward the last crash site, a crater of molten glass. In the center, lying peacefully, was Leora. Her body was glowing softly, human, fragile, but alive. He fell to his knees. "Hey, you saved us," she opened one eye weakly. "Told you, Earth was worth it." Epilogue. The legend of the core girl months passed. The world never learned the full story. Governments covered it up. Satellites were recalibrated. Craters were meteor strikes. But stories leaked. A girl who glowed. A war that was never fought. A moment when the sky blinked and death turned into peace. Ray kept a journal. He called it the core girl. Sometimes he'd find Leora staring at the stars, quiet, thoughtful. "Do you think they'll come back?" he once asked. She smiled. "If they do," she said, "this time they'll come to learn, not to conquer." Ray handed her a cup of coffee. "Good," he said, "because next time, you're not saving Earth alone."